Hey, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for this quarter's Kentucky Innovation Hub update, of course, brought to you by KSTC and KY Innovation. And together we work to support our innovation hubs and all of the many entrepreneurial support organizations in every county across Kentucky. Now, before I jump in, I just want to extend a thank you to everyone who was able to attend last night's Kentucky Inno Startups to Watch in 2025 event. Thank you, especially to all of our innovation hubs, all of our ESOs that submitted nominations of very worthwhile early stage companies for that recognition. And I do want to extend my congratulations to all of the honorees who came from across the state, and we got to hear from each of them. And it was certainly an impressive list, and we will be sure to forward the results of that out to everybody. All right, today we generally, with this particular quarterly webinar, we provide updates and our progress and our impact and outcomes of our Kentucky Innovation Hubs during the second quarter of our fiscal year, 2025, and covering the accomplishments generally from July 1st to December 31st, that first half of our fiscal year. As most of you know, our 6 innovation hubs assist founders every single day in helping them to advance their tech and their tech-enabled startups. And they do this through startup coaching, access to capital, customer acquisitions, mentorship programs, talent connections, and of course, strategic introductions and lots of great high-quality networking. Our hubs play a very critical role in helping to advance the growth of our startups. They're augmenting our state's tech economy, and of course, all the while promoting a vibrant entrepreneurial ecosystem in their regions and collectively throughout the state. And we're dedicated to building on this success, as you're going to hear from their progress reports, and continue to support the innovations and the entrepreneurs that are driving, of course, new ideas and innovation forward. So before we dive into those details, I'd like to highlight a couple of key achievements from the past quarter. So first of all, we always like to welcome new friends and new team members to our whole entire support ecosystem, and we have lots to welcome and congratulate. And so first of all, in the Amplify Innovation Hub, we want to welcome Cynthia Lee. She is their new Director of Community Engagement, and they have 2 new EIRs. Welcome Amber Fields and Ben Reno Weber. In the Awesome region, we want to welcome Mackenzie Haynes, who is Partnerships Manager. We got to hear a little bit about her role last time, and I know there's lots more on the horizon coming up. In Blue North, we want to welcome back Reese Watson. She is returning to Blue North Innovation Hub as their Chief of Staff. In the Create region, we want to welcome Amanda Havard. She is a relatively new entrepreneur in residence for Create. And also, if we haven't before, please do welcome Penny Hughes. She is their event manager. In the SOAR region, we of course want to welcome the interim director of entrepreneurship joining us, Joshua Ball. Welcome. And then finally, in our Sprocket region, we have 2 new EIRs. So welcome to John Truitt and Eric Goodman. So we're happy to have a very robust team as we start this new year. So kicking it off, we also want to welcome Curelytics. They're a biotech company that's innovating oncology solutions using the power of mathematics. And founder Emma Bunch recently shared her story about leaving Harvard University in order to return home to Central Kentucky with her startup. And on behalf of Sprocket, we're excited to welcome healthcare companies Data Rovers. They're an AI-powered healthcare solution, and Smart MS3, an innovative tech hardware for physical therapists. They've moved to Paducah as part of their next 50K award program from Sprocket. All right, moving on, lots of congratulations. Big shout out, early last quarter, Patrick Henshaw, Managing Director of Render Capital, was named one of the most admired CEOs by Business First. So congratulations, Patrick. We do want to congratulate the companies that were selected to Awesome Inc.'s most recent fellowship program from across the state. So Air Trek Robotics, Syndalos, OneUp, and Value Buddy. If you've not heard of Hempwood, they were currently featured in a new exhibition at the University of Texas in Austin. And they focus on sustainable alternatives to widely used building materials. The UT Materials Lab is the world's largest collection of architectural material samples, and so they are featured there. And they also installed a beautiful accent wall showcasing Kentucky-grown hemp over at Murray State. Congratulations to Brandon Young with Pascal Tags on his selection to the Forbes 30 Under 30, well deserved. Two Rivers Fisheries, which are located in Wickliffe, Kentucky, represented the state recently as an honoree on the U.S. Chamber of Commerce's Top 100 list. And we're going to hear more about Air Trek Robotics, so I'm not going to say this next thing because I'm sure it'll be included, but look for that. And then finally, congratulations to 820 OK on their selection to Endeavor from Louisville. Their purpose is to empower U.S. citizens, families, and businesses to live solar as a vertically integrated solar developer and make solar even more viable and accessible than it ever was before. And speaking of Endeavor, we are really pleased with the milestone celebration of Endeavor Midwest, who reached that 10-year milestone in supporting later stage high growth companies, particularly from Kentucky. So lots of thanks to extend. I want to thank Blue North and for putting on their Brand Fusion 2024. They were able to bring together marketers and from 40 different leading brands and innovative startups. Back in October, they had over 400 individual meetings that they scheduled for those startups with the opportunity to showcase their technologies and solutions in these sessions with decision makers from some of the world's largest companies. I also had a great opportunity to sit down recently with Rob Wilson. He is CEO of the Bowling Green Regional Tech Council, which was co-founded by Create. And I got to hear about their interests on behalf of growing Warren County's tech community and providing high-quality technology-focused roundtables for their members just to start. And lots of those attendees were startups from the region. And then save the date. The University of Kentucky's Innovate is going to be hosting their third annual Kentucky Innovator Challenge. That's on April 15th of this year. It'll be at UK, so do mark your calendars to attend that exciting event. I'm going to roll over into some of our capital updates and some of our exits, which I'll begin with. We had 3 exits by Kentucky startups in this last quarter. In the Blue North region, PackIQ was acquired by Milwaukee-based Direct Supply. In the Create region, Kentucky Thermal Inspection was acquired by Multi-Sensor AI Holdings, which is located in Beaumont, Texas. And in the Amplify region, QSR Automations, serving the restaurant industry, was acquired by Battery Ventures. All of those were for undisclosed amounts, but we congratulate these founders on successful exits of their businesses. And then moving on into capital, the Innovation Hubs and I track investment activity in Kentucky startups, which means the number of startups that receive funding and then also the total amount that's invested in them. So to close out the full 12-month calendar year of 2024, Kentucky had a total of 85 startups that were funded, and that was at the total of $137.25 million in early stage investment. So a significant amount this past year. 2 that I want to highlight this past quarter, in the Awesome region, Electromet raised $12.16 million of Series C venture funding from Keyhorse Capital, Veriton, and other disclosed investors. And in the Blue North region, Erlanger-based Brightpick, which is a leading provider of warehouse automation solutions for order fulfillment, they announced that they had raised an additional $12 million in a mix of both equity and debt from new investor EBRD Venture Capital and alongside some additional existing investors. So big congrats to both Electromet as well as Brightpick. And then finally, related to capital, congratulations to Covington-based Kinetic Ventures. They have now just launched their Kinetic Venture Capital Access Fund, and that's going to give average investors the ability to put money in early stage and growth stage companies. So that is terrific news with that new fund coming out of Kinetic Ventures. And then finally, just on the hub front, later this last quarter, Dave Knox, our executive director of Blue North, was named Mentor of the Year by the Kentucky Entrepreneurial Hall of Fame, of course, for his continued dedication supporting startups and small businesses in our Northern Kentucky region. So very well deserved. Thank you, everyone, for all of those great successes and accomplishments. And of course, all of us with our innovation hubs and our entrepreneurial support groups across the state are here to support you, to help you assist, connect, and to be sure that you are able to advance your startup in Kentucky. So with that, I am finished with our state of startups in Kentucky, but it is certainly my pleasure to move on and to welcome David Brock. He, of course, is the interim executive director for KY Innovation, also known as the Office of Entrepreneurship and Innovation within the Cabinet for Economic Development, for a cabinet update. Hey, David.
Hey, Lisa, thank you. Happy to have everybody here this morning. This is one of my favorite days because we get to hear all the good news about what's going on and all the good work going on across the state with our hubs. For anybody who is not as familiar with the work they do, they are really a vital resource for startups across the state, whether that's funding, product market, customers, general mentorship. They do a lot of great work. Lisa mentioned at the top last night, Louisville Business First and KYNO had their Startups to Watch event. And that is always another one of my favorite days because we do get to see promising companies that are, up and coming, but also really the fruits of the labor of our hubs, because so many of those companies have had a touch point with one of the hubs. Some of them have worked with more than one of the hubs on their journey. And so they really exemplify what the hubs can do to help startups reach those milestones. I'm not going to take up any more time. I'm going to pass it back so that we can get started with the updates. I'm really looking forward to hearing from everybody across the state. If you want any more information about what we do, we like to refer people, especially entrepreneurs and who have a startup that they have going to the hubs, but you can go to kyinnovation.com to learn more about our programs and learn more about the hubs program generally. But excited to hear from everybody, and thank you all.
Thanks so much, David. Appreciate that. All right, so our agenda today, I'm going to just very briefly describe exactly what it is that our innovation hubs will be reporting on, just so that you're acquainted, especially for those of you that are new to this quarterly series. For those of you that have been with us before, welcome back. As you can see, these are the 6 innovation hubs that we have who cover all 120 counties in supporting their both urban and rural early stage, primarily tech innovation-led businesses. All right, next. Here's what they're going to talk about. They're going to share with everyone a startup win from a startup client that they've been working with over the last quarter. A couple of them, I'm excited to let you know, have actually brought the founder of a particular startup with them today. So we get to hear from founders directly, which is always a big treat. I've asked them to just share with you and highlight 3 of the 9 metrics that we have been measuring for a good 3 or more, probably 3 years at this point. They're going to share with you their half midway year 6-month results against their 12-month goals. They'll highlight 3 of those for you, keep things moving along. They'll highlight also an event from this past quarter that they have hosted for their region, and then I've asked them to give an update on one of their more strategic initiatives for the full fiscal year 2025 and let us know how that is progressing. So let's get into it. All right. So to kick us off, we're going to start with our regional hub over in the Lexington region with Awesome Inc. They cover 28 counties. Welcome, Garrett Farbach, Director.
Hey, thanks, Lisa. Appreciate it. Both you and David giving the very warm intro and just giving a recap for what's going on. So quick out of the gates, we're going to talk about my friend Caleb Ashen. So Lisa, you mentioned his company, OneUps. He has since changed his name to Quick Flips, which is more in line with what he does in the video game reselling space. But a couple of points, I'm going to read off some bullet points from him about what he's accomplished as an entrepreneur. So over the last calendar year, and then we'll focus on the last quarter specifically, Caleb and Quick Flips was accepted into the fellowship in October 2024. They pitched in 5 Across in April, and then they pitched in the finals and won the crowd favorite. And if you were there, you probably understood why, because Caleb's got a great stage presence. And one thing that was really impactful to hear after the event, Caleb is now being actively mentored by one of the judges, Brian Poe, who was from that event, who's done very well in the tech space. And they just naturally struck up a conversation, and Caleb asked if he could learn from him. And Brian was very eager to pour back into an up-and-coming entrepreneur. And that's a great sign of success for us. And then the last couple things, the Quick Flips team launched an expansion with their product with APAC software. And right after the holidays, so early Q1 of 25, Quick Flips team has made 2 hires from the Awesome Inc. network. One was part-time role, and then one was a full-time person part-time that went to full-time, and then one was a contractor. And then just a couple other things. Quick Flips was comfortable with sharing this, that they experienced 116% revenue growth from the past year. And then Caleb said one of the best parts of being around the hubs and other entrepreneurs is just the like-minded nature and learning from seasoned entrepreneurs. So we're excited what is going on with Quick Flips, a local Lexington-based startup. And then on to the next slide. 3 quick metrics I will highlight are the startup connections. So that number is at the halfway point, 700, that we've reached our goal. But we do an investor one-on-one speed dating event that some of you guys have been in the works about. And then we have a really fun event I'll talk about momentarily, the Kentucky Entrepreneur Hall of Fame ceremony and 5 Across finals. So the last quarter of the year, the past few years, has had a lot of weighty events for us where a lot of strategic connections either start and things go on and are pursued from there, or our team and some of the folks that we get to serve, they rekindle relationships and connections are made there. And then the next one down, jobs created. I mentioned this momentarily ago with Quick Flips, but it's always exciting when fellowship companies that we serve, so that's our Startup Accelerator program, they're hiring out of our network, or other founders or maybe who've been through some of the Awesome Inc. programming, they reach out and ask for referrals. And also what's really exciting about that is sometimes that even means some of the Kentucky Entrepreneur Hall of Fame inductees either ask for referral connections for potential hires, or they make recommendations when maybe they are stepping away from their business or it's acquired, and then they have great team members that they are trying to place back within Kentucky-based startups. And so we're excited about what is happening with some of the sharp talent we have in Kentucky. And then the last one I will highlight is the amount invested. And we do an annual end of year survey. We do monthly updates with the founders that we serve, but a lot of our companies want us to give one final push for information at the end of the year with jobs created and investment. And I will say that the 2016 fellowship class has punched way out of their weight limit, and they have done very, very well. And so there is a strong uptick and investment raised from that class specifically. And then on to the one event I want to highlight. Again, a lot of you on this call, maybe even watching, were at this event. And every year, the Kentucky Entrepreneur Hall of Fame induction ceremony is the one time all of us get to dress our best. You know, the black tie event, we all look very snazzy. But it's always impactful to see Kentucky's most accomplished entrepreneurs highlighted. It's an inspiration for people of all stages across their journey. And then for the awesome team and the Kentucky Entrepreneur Hall of Fame team, it helps us make key connections for entrepreneurs that we are currently serving and making connections for people that some of these entrepreneurs are trying to get in contact with. And so for all of us, it just helps build a better, robust image, helps build belief and what's possible in Kentucky. And then for the last slide, for the one event, so we talked about this earlier last year, but Mackenzie Haynes, as you just mentioned, Lisa is our partnerships manager, and she is the boots on the ground, is meeting, I think, literally everyone within our service region and figuring out what is that maybe missing puzzle piece for how earlier entrepreneurs that are in college, maybe fresh out of college, how they can get plugged into the entrepreneurial ecosystem. And with her background in academia, she is making a ton of key connections at all the universities in our service region. And she is getting a lot of the entrepreneurship clubs launched off the ground and helping them get implemented into what Awesome's doing. So with that, I'm at my 5 minutes. I'm done. I will drop my email in the comments if anybody has any further questions. So with that, thanks for the time.
All right. Thank you so much for that update. We love the fact that the Awesome Fellowship class of 2016 is just crushing it on the fundraising front, follow-on capital. You know, as we say in entrepreneurship, this is a long-term game. And so, you know, it takes a while, but we're so happy to hear about their continued success. All right, moving around our region, representing our eastern part of the state, we have Joshua Ball, who is the Interim Director of Entrepreneurship for SOAR, and they represent 29 counties. Hi, Joshua.
Thanks, Lisa. I'm also the Chief Operating Officer, so I'm wearing a lot of hats. This is my first one. The first thing I want to start out with is saying just how grateful I am for all the other hubs, specifically Amplify and Larry, who I had a relationship with before, has just been super helpful for our team as we have recalibrated our approach. And I want to start off by saying how proud I am of our team. They're working extremely hard in probably one of the most difficult places to do this kind of work, but we truly believe that there is a future in Appalachia, and our team wakes up every day fighting for the people of the region and the communities we love and care about dearly. Our startup that we're super proud of is Sunflower Fuels. Being in Eastern Kentucky, a region that is known for extraction and you know, energy has helped build our economy over decades. We are now looking at new energy and new ways of recalibrating the ingenuity of the people of Eastern Kentucky to do new and innovative things. So Sunflower Fuels was one of the startups to watch last night in Louisville, and they are doing some really incredible stuff around miscanthus and the biofuels market. So this founder, Gabby Blotcher, who is the CEO, has got $350,000 in total investment. In addition to, in January, she got an additional $250,000 with Key Horse Capital. So we're super excited about this founder and really several in this new energy space as we're continuing to build the ecosystem here in Eastern Kentucky. I'm going to be a little bit different in some of the things I want to highlight. One is one that we're not hitting the goal of. And I think it's important that, you know, we talk about the things that we're learning as we're continuing to do this work and pivoting here in Eastern Kentucky. First off is the startup investment. We're at $400,000 of our $2 million goal. But you heard me say earlier about how proud I am of the team. And really, this is why. We have 16 connections to capital right now, 16 that are out there, 4 of which are pretty solid. So I mean, if we're batting way above our average, and we're connecting, you know, the small number of high priority founders we have, and we are relentless in trying to find funding opportunities for them. So I'm confident we're going to get there and surpass that. Our startups referred, we're at 67. You know, I want to thank Launch Blue, Larry with Abaca. You know, we're learning so much about this ecosystem and really relying on each of you all and your expertise as we continue to serve our clients. We know that we're not in this alone, and that is critically important for me. And startups served, coaching and mentoring, we're at 186 of our goal of 350. So those are the three goals that I want to highlight on our end. The SOAR Summit, which is our signature event as SOAR as a whole, we have more than 400 attendees gather in Pikeville back in October. We had an innovation track with a variety of programming opportunities, which you see on the slide there. We also have Innovation Alley, which is a dedicated space in our Experience EKY exhibit hall, where we invite our founders, but also our technical assistance provider, our hub partners, all of our partners, and we put them in one location inside the arena, and it allows us to build greater capacity across the region with the work that we're doing. But more importantly, it allows our founders and other folks to get the network and get to see one another and spend, a couple of days together, working the event. So we're super proud of that, and that will continue in Corbin this year. We will be there in October, in August. So we haven't announced that yet. But we're gonna be in Corbin in August. We're looking forward to really good weather, probably a little bit warmer than October, but we're super excited about there. And we will be at the Corbin Arena and the Corbin Center for the whole week. So looking forward to that. Our ecosystem initiative, I'm not sure I'm sold on this name, but we got to kind of stick with it and roll with it, right? I'm in the interim. But we are doing a Startup Appalachia Accelerator, but I want to be very clear about our accelerator model here. This is for our high priority founders that are really in the fundraising stage. So we have received some private support from Community Trust Bank over the last 5 years to do pitch competitions and other things. But this year we are going to put 5 of our high priority tech enabled founders, and we are going to connect them with an entrepreneur with deep ties to Eastern Kentucky that has founded and exited several companies. And we're gonna spend 5 weeks just immersed with them, and then we're going to culminate that with an in-person founders weekend, tentatively in Ashland, Kentucky, where we're going to bring them in. We're going to do a reverse pitch competition. They're going to get one-on-one time with not only investors, but investors that we're going to hand select to go around and to listen to them talk about their company and things like that. So super excited about that. And we're going to bring their entire family there, because we feel in Eastern Kentucky, family is critically important. And we know that the founders' spouses and partners are also part of this journey. And we really want to spend some time there and allow their kids to come. And we're going to work with the host community on doing some really cool activities with the kids. So it's going to be a little bit of a different approach, but we certainly feel that that's critically important. I'll wrap up by saying that, when we succeed in Eastern Kentucky, the Commonwealth becomes the best version of itself. We realize that. We realize that that we're behind the 8 ball sometimes to other folks, but we don't believe that. We wake up every day with opportunities in front of us, and we are, as an organization, relentless in the pursuit of those opportunities. And that doesn't happen without our team, but it also doesn't happen without this ecosystem across the Commonwealth that's helping us fill gaps and also identify opportunities that we may not always see. So with that, we'll wrap up.
All right. Thanks so much, Joshua. And I appreciate always the reminder that, we absolutely collaborate and lean in and on each other as we all work together to advance startups and our entrepreneurial success across the state. And we look very much forward to you all and a new initiative with your Appalachia Accelerator. I know this has to be the first in the region. So I appreciate the effort and especially the customer discovery that you're pursuing in order to develop that particular new program for your region. So thank you. All right, we're going to move over into our Central Kentucky region with Create. They represent 12 counties. And welcome, Buddy, Program Director.
Yes, thank you, Lisa. And look who I have with me, Amanda Havard. You mentioned her earlier, and we're glad to have her as an entrepreneur residence here. So my first slide, this is a new company. It's a startup. They started out as a company called Transmission. They sort of pivoted, evolved into this new initiative called Undesk. It turns out that the majority of the workforce in America doesn't have company emails. They are not connected to the corporate organization very well at all. And what Jeremy did with Undesk is he created a platform, a very advanced state-of-the-art platform, by the way, that allows companies to connect with those workers. And it's very, very valuable. The very first potential client that I introduced Jeremy to became a customer that day. And he's continuing to grow his customer base. This will work for all types of companies, manufacturing, all the way to tech companies, really. Retail, the whole thing. So he's on to something with this. Jeremy's a serial inventor, entrepreneur. He's been here at the Innovation Campus for many, many years. And I'll talk about him just in a little bit more in my last slides. And in fact, here he is. Come here, Jeremy.
Yeah.
Could you go back 1 second? Jeremy, this is the statewide Entrepreneur Hub meeting, and I was just talking about your Undesk company.
Oh, look at that. We're in the
And-
same outfit.
Yeah, there you go. Tell us a little bit, Jeremy, about Undesk, and also mention Create and
Sure.
our interaction, and Amanda and myself, and sort of the value.
Sure, yeah. So I've been in the building now for here where Create's housed at the Innovation Campus for probably 13 years. Been in the same place, and I've got to watch this place evolve. But probably the greatest advantage, in addition to the technology resources, like I've got the fastest internet that's the most stable of anywhere I've ever been, but it's the networking. Like I get to meet folks that are working out on interesting projects. Amanda here, which apparently is in your all's meeting, well, you know, between Undesk and another company that she's doing some consulting work for, she was able to make a connection not too long ago. And now we've got a project where we're working to fulfill a regulatory need. The entire continent of Australia has put out where you have to monitor mental health. And so that wouldn't have happened had we not been in the building. The other question Buddy had was, you know, what is Undesk? Undesk is focuses around a fact that we figured out that 80% of the entire global workforce in the entire world, 2.7 billion people, don't have a company email address and they don't have a company computer. And you hear me say that, and I'm sure you're all in your heads kind of like, well, that's got to be bullshit, because I've always had a company email address, right? But most people don't. You think about it, corporate people have company email addresses. All tech companies have company email addresses. But after that, basically only the manager at Walmart has a company email address. Only the manager at McDonald's, only the manager at the Holiday Inn, only the manager of the factory. And you keep going down that line, and you ultimately realize nobody in agriculture has a company email address, mining, things like that. And so what we do is we make software and hardware technologies that allow for all of those communication interactions that need to occur with people in a workforce, from the onboarding to the training to the daily job assignments to the, you know, near misses, maintenance requests, all those sort of things. We make that possible in a world where right now it's just it's a very serious challenge. That's what we do. We make it easy.
Thanks, Jeremy. Hang on 1 second.
Thank you so much, Jeremy.
Okay, and so okay, thanks, Jeremy.
Buddy, we're going to have you roll right on forward.
Roll next, please. Okay, yep, metrics. I'll point out 3 of those, 169 folks we've dealt with, like Jeremy, over the past quarter. The number of jobs that we have is about 7, and new jobs, and the collaborative smart space, it continues to just explode, really, and we've got 330 members in that thing that network with each other and share their talent, people like Amanda and Jeremy and so forth. So what Jeremy was talking about is really basically one of our strategic initiatives to be able to allow those folks to interact in a free way. Next. And there she is. One of the things that one of our successes, actually the biggest attended event in Startup Garden history for us, was Amanda. And we hear lots and lots of good things. There were a lot of really good people there, and she does a great job with that. So we're excited to have Startup Garden and have people like her present. Next. Okay, so strategically, you said strategic initiatives. One of the things that's absolutely true, if Amanda Havar does not want to live in Bowling Green, then she will not live in Bowling Green, and she certainly wouldn't be working here. But she made the decision to move here, and there's a reason why she made a decision to move here. And she's a powerhouse talent, and she's helping people left and right. And it's because Bowling Green is a fantastic place to live. Same with me. I've been here. I could have been living and working anywhere, but I stayed here, fell in love with it. And we just happen to have one of the most incredible opportunities to have the #1 travel TV show in the world recognize how special Bowling Green is. And I mean special in the entire United States. And they came and filmed for 10 days. They made me a producer on the show. I integrated the WKU all in through there. Innovation Campus and Create had a segment on the show. It's currently running at 65 airports. There's 21 million people have viewed 10 minutes of that show. And it's strategic, quantitatively designed to convince people like Amanda, who is in the airports, and Jeremy, that Bowling Green is a place to take a look at. And if we don't have talent, we don't have tech companies. Talented people start tech companies. They grow tech companies. And the way I did before Bowling Green could host them, my tech company moved to Nashville. So my job when I came here in 2003 was to figure out how to make that change. And we certainly have. Global Child recognized the uniqueness of us. They presented it in a world-class way. This is only the second location they've ever done in the United States. West Palm Beach was the other. And most of the time they're in Dubai and all the other places around the world. So we were representing middle class, the mid-America, Americana, and Kentucky, and they did it fantastic. And you're going to see metrics, at least this is one of those things where it maybe didn't come across perfectly at first, but we are going to see tech companies coming here and contacting us and forming here, and we're using that show ourselves because we own the show as well. So my event is also associated with the show. And by the way, Jeremy is a segment on the show about talking about tech and how wonderful the infrastructure is. But we're having a reunion. The host and the crew of that show coming to Bowling Green. It's back to Bowling Green Saturday, February 1. We're going to be viewing it in a 1,200-seat theater. We've invited all of our talented people around Bowling Green to come here and get inspired by the talented people that these people are. And I invite all of you to do that as well, okay? And if you know talented people that are out and about in different places, I can tell you this, Bowling Green, if once they get wind of what we're doing, they would want to be a part of it, especially the collaborative people like Amanda. She's highly collaborative, and she's very compassionate and passionate about what she does. And those kinds of people like to be around people that are like that, and that's who we are. So that's my event. Stay tuned for more updates on the impact of that.
Great. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, Buddy. And just to be sure everybody knows, Buddy's dropped a lot of information about the Global Child TV segment on Bowling Green. There's also an invitation to join them for that in-person viewing party, and it'll be available afterward. So thank you for sharing this past quarter's update.
Thank you.
All right, we will move on, and we've got Monica Bielak, who is Executive Director of Sprocket over in our Western Kentucky region. They represent 22 counties, and she is joined by Noah Folk with eWagers. Hi, Monica.
Hey, everybody. I'm going to do the quick version of introducing Noah Folk. He was our Next 50K, one of our Next 50K companies. Always comes back. He's a great mentor. His company is eWagers. It's a B2B gaming infrastructure allowing games and businesses to monetize through real money wagers and tournaments in a safe, secure, and fully compliant environment. And I'll let you take it away, Noah.
Yeah, thanks, Monica. Thanks so much. Pleasure to be here, everybody. Thank you so much for the time. So I'm Noah Folk, founder, CEO of eWagers. Long story short, I've been gaming since around the age of 4. I became semi-professional at age 13, and I started wagering on PayPal. Again, long story short, I ended up getting banned from life from PayPal, and I got banned from all of their subsidiaries as well. So can't use Venmo. And so fast forward nearly a decade, that's really what inspired eWagers. We're a proprietary, fully audited and approved real money gaming infrastructure. And so we give game publishers and video game companies and also sporting venues the ability to monetize and retain users through skill-based wagers and tournaments. And so the business model itself is really quite simple. The partners integrate our API, they share the match data in real time, they bring the user base, and then eWagers handles all the compliance, the infrastructure, match result automation, and together we boost engagement, retention, all while creating the new revenue stream via the service fees that are being generated from the completed wagers and tournaments. And then should our partners so choose, they also have the ability to white label our technology, making it branded as their own tournament and wagering platform, and it simply becomes powered by our tech behind the scenes. And so we have over 15 partners that will be activating this year with a combined active user amount of 15 million. And we're really excited to progress, and this wouldn't have been possible without Sprocket, the Kentucky ecosystem, Key Horse Capital, and introductions to other mentors and investors throughout the region. So thank you so much for your time.
Thanks,
Great to have
Noah.
you, Noah.
Yeah. So, and this is the platform that you can white label. So, I'm going to put in a pitch. If you guys do have sporting facilities, that this would be a really good boost for them. Please reach out to Noah. He's on the call today, or you can reach out to me and I can get you his contact. We'd really like to see this spread. So, excited about this pivot he made and what they're doing. And so thank you, Noah. Next slide, please. All right. Our startup served, we're on track, as you can see. It's been really busy, as Lisa mentioned. There's a progression, and we call it a flywheel over here, but the flywheel is flying. It started. It's been slow, but it's now hit us. So we've got 25 new businesses, and I was just talking to the guys at Keyhorse last night, and they're like, "Where did you get all this deal flow?" I'm like, "I don't know. It just magically appeared," but it really has, from years of hard work. It's you work the soil for a while, and then suddenly you get some great sprouts. So it's very exciting. And a lot of referrals, and those referrals are because of all of you guys. So I really, really appreciate our statewide team. I think that is the absolute value proposition for Kentucky. And I really appreciate everybody on this call that will allow me to make intros and so forth. Next slide, please. So we had our first ever local pitch, inspired by Awesome, because you guys are, amazing, Garrett, and everything you guys do there. And we had a local one. It pulled everybody out of the region. It was fantastic. We had 7 counties involved we have 22. So we felt really good about getting really active engagement for this program. It started as a multi-week and then led into a selection of people who were pitched. So love it. One of them was a tech company, but we had a lot of product as well. So excited to see that happening, and we're really excited to do our next one. Next slide, please. A couple of things that are coming down the pike. One is we're going to have a new website. And this is a really interactive website. It's going to have a mentor network. Shout out to Dave for introducing me to a mentor deck. If you don't have a mentor deck, get one. This is the most amazing way to activate people across your region. Love it. We'll have courses on there. We'll also do a job board similar to what Amplify and Blue North, I know for sure, are doing. We're following that GetRow job board, and then we'll have a regional forum for just connecting. So really excited about that. That will be happening in March. We are also starting 2 new programs. We have a new EIR, Lisa mentioned, John Truitt. He actually was the CEO and founder of Kaleo Technologies, and has come in and is working with teams. So he'll start a 90-day pre-accelerator with ongoing coaches. And this is just to really look at business model design. They've all these people have progressed through the business model design program. And then we're going to help them with that market fit. So they're doing a lot of customer discovery. It's incredibly intensive, and it's very selective who gets to work with him. But the ones who are in there right now are really excited about. So that will be happening as well. If you know of a company who's just like, I'm not getting traction, I don't know why, we can help you. It's very prescriptive. It's a very systematic program, but we're really excited about those companies that are ready to 10 times their growth. That's really who fits in this program. So more on that later. But that's what's going on in West Kentucky. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Monica. And also thanks, Noah, for sharing eWagers with us and your connections through and with Sprocket. All right, we're zipping around the state here, representing our Louisville region. We have Jen Callahan with us today. She's Director of Business Development and Marketing with Amplify. They represent 12 counties, and she has Waleed Bahuth with Kindly Benefits.
Thanks, Lisa. Hey, everyone. Excited to spotlight just incredible startup, Kindly Benefits. They're navigating the health insurance space in a big way, making it a much easier process to understand and more accessible for businesses and individuals. We've had the privilege of working with Waleed and his co-founder Eric back in the early days before when they were branded Arrow Health. And it's been just inspiring to watch them grow. We're lucky to have played a small part in that journey. And with that, I'll turn it over to Waleed. Thanks for being here, Waleed.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Jen. Happy to get to talk to you all. Know a number of folks on the call because you've also been helpful. Thanks, Garrett. Thanks, Lisa. Just a quick background, as Jen said, Kindly's focus is helping companies access healthcare, primarily through the individual marketplace. Our core product is a 401k for health insurance, a defined contribution plan where you as an employer provide your employees dollars pre-tax that they use to go out and get their own individual health plans. We think this is the wave of the future in healthcare. We're already seeing a huge shift in the employer-sponsored healthcare space into this model, and we think that's really going to accelerate over the next couple of years. My co-founder Eric and I left our cushy jobs at Humana to start this company. And the thing I'll kind of spotlight in terms of Amplify's help was really getting us started with a playbook. And that looked like, here's what you need to do. You need to start with launch it, then consider vote, the render competition, and really things to get things going. I would say, where we were as founders, we were stepping out of a large corporation with a great idea, a broad network that we could leverage, some cushion that we could use to bootstrap, and that's about it. No idea where to start. So I mention that because I would guess that there's another 500 people like us in Kentucky, and what they really need is to de-risk the opportunity to go out and grow the next Humana, the next large organization that we need. We focus a lot on kind of, development of talent at the college or graduate school level. I could never have done that. I needed like the incubation within a large organization. I needed the subject matter expertise, and frankly, the little bit of cushion to take the risk again in order to grow the company. I think many people are similar, but I think one thing that we struggle with again is kind of helping people make that transition out of a company into entrepreneurship. So again, something I'm passionate about, something that I really appreciated Amplify's help in doing that. What they did at the start, in addition to kind of that playbook, was introductions to resources that helped us with those initial needs around company formation, financial model, capital plan. And then as we grew, they checked in constantly to keep pace with what we needed then, which was, GrowthX, an opportunity to participate in that program that helped us scale our go-to-market strategy, and then ways that we could leverage the existing network, Amplify's network, other resources to further develop our product offering and get more traction. They've always been extremely responsive to texts and everything else that we need to. So really appreciate the partnership for a number of folks on this call and in particular to Amplify. I do have one quick ask if I can. Our next kind of focus is helping companies access healthcare across the rural parts of Kentucky. We have a partnership with the State Cabinet for Health and Family Services, and we were just approved for a project with them that is really seeking to help companies that provide dependent level coverage, but not family coverage in the Commonwealth. This is a huge issue for our state. Almost 40% of our state is on Medicaid. We're one of kind of the highest Medicaid leverage states in the country. And if you've been following the news in the last couple of weeks, Medicaid funding is really posed to take a significant hit. That could pose a significant healthcare access challenge for citizens in our Commonwealth in the next couple of years. We have ways to help that, but we need to get out in front of chambers of commerce, especially in rural parts of Kentucky, and large employers. Again, in particular, kind of essential workers, folks that are providing dependent level coverage, but not able to provide coverage to their families. So if you have connections to those groups or needs, we're more than happy to try to help. Thanks so much for the time.
Thanks, Waleed. Great example of how you can tap into pretty much all of the resources that Amplify has to offer. So thank you for that. Lisa, moving on, the startup served, while we have been under our goal number, we are on an upward trajectory. We have recent additions to the team that were mentioned earlier that are going to certainly position us better to support and engage with more founders. So we're excited about that. Under Startups Advanced, we have exceeded our goal And I think the more important piece of that is we feel very confident by using some of the reporting tools such as Abaca that's been mentioned. We use that during the vote awards. Lisa's cheering. It just gives us a better understanding of where people are and collecting data along the way so that we can continue to feel confident in that data. The events growth, our programming continues to gain momentum, rising participation in all of the areas, both Louisville area. We had a great event here recently in the E-Town area, so we're excited about that. Moving to the next slide. In December, we hosted an evening event for Venture Connectors, which is typically our luncheon event. But by opening up the evening time, we saw some new faces. That's always exciting for us. We had really great engagement with investors, founders, community partners, and like I said, new faces that were coming out, and that extra element of fun that we brought to the event was the caricatures artist. She interestingly is an ambidextrous artist, so she was able to draw with both hands, and a lot of folks were able to take advantage of that talent that she had. So that was fun. We had a great participation. And then lastly, but certainly not least, we're making tangible progress in our mission to grow the pipeline and resources to support the Latin, Hispanic, and immigrant entrepreneurs that are new to our community. In May of last year, we had a successful partnership with David Lopez and the Louisville Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. And since then, we've been continuing to nurture partnerships, hosting collaborative events, and we're in the works of exploring grants that can expand our impact in this space. And that's it from us.
All right, thank you so much, Jen, and thank you, Waleed. And Waleed, spoken like a true entrepreneur with an ask. We love it, and we will certainly do our best to help connect any chambers of commerce, particularly in rural areas, as well as any large employers to you and to Eric. So thank you for your update. All right, friends, we're going to just close out our statewide update here in our Northern Kentucky region. We have Reese Watson. She's Chief of Staff for Blue North. And of course, they represent 17 counties. And with Reese today is John Tyler, Airtrack Robotics.
Thank you, Lisa, for the warm welcome. I'll go ahead and turn it over to John Taylor for our success story with Airtrack Robotics.
Well, thank you everybody for having me. And I know we're kind of approaching our deadline here, so I'll try to make it quick. The quick version of what we're working on is we're developing an autonomous mobile robot to patrol airport tarmac, basically cleaning up anything like any debris, small bolts, nuts, those types of things that may fall off during maintenance activities or stuff that gets spread around just in the course of normal daily operations. When that stuff gets blown across at high velocities, it can injure people, or when it gets sucked up into jet engines, cause massive amounts of damage. So that's kind of our product initiative there. This last year has been a pretty informative year for us, both on the customer side, as well as all of us are learning how to be founders for the first time. So can't thank Blue North enough for that. We had the opportunity to participate in the Brink Accelerator. I believe we were the first program through there. Very helpful. We closed out last year with participating in a program called Flight, which is sponsored by the state of Michigan with the Ford International Airport. And we had stakeholders from the airport operators, the FAA, Southwest Airlines. So incredible opportunity for us to learn. That's kind of launched us into, we're pitching at South by Southwest in the start. I guess it's going to be in next month or so. Super excited for the exposure there. Obviously tons of different companies, investors, huge opportunity. And our kind of main focus for 2025 is as many different engagements with airports, with airlines, pretty much as we possibly can. That informs our product development, gets us a product that we can, safely put out in front of the airport and, have it complete its mission. And it's just going to be a super exciting year for us. So, thank you for everybody here in the state of Kentucky and Blue North especially for helping us along this journey. And that's about us.
Thanks, John. Love how active air check has been in the ecosystem, and super excited about all the stuff you guys are accomplishing. But over to our metrics, the 3 I wanted to highlight, starting with the Startups Connected, like Lisa had mentioned at the beginning, was our brand fusion event. So that was back in October, where we brought together 40 of some of the biggest brands and paired them with different startups for one-on-one meetings to talk about innovation. So that resulted in 444 scheduled meetings and connections. So that really got our startups connected up there, and a lot of valuable connections as well. And then jobs created, we partner with our subgrantee Incubator Kitchen Collective, which is kind of a co-working space for food businesses. These are food entrepreneurs. 3 of the jobs on there from some of the high growth food companies we have up in Northern Kentucky working out of that kitchen. So it's Trisha's season dish, Mimi's macros, and Stock Up for Health. So excited about their growth. And then lastly, I wanted to highlight our funding and invested, kind of putting those 2 together. But we had a lot of grants going out this past quarter, one with the Northern Kentucky Chamber and the Duke Energy, as well as the Northern Kentucky Entrepreneur Fund that invested in 8 businesses. 50,000 grants total, 25,000 of that coming from the Northern Kentucky Entrepreneur Fund. And then the event we wanted to highlight was our Northern Kentucky Entrepreneur Fund collaboration with Main Street Ventures. They did Main Street Monday. This was in November. And these grants go out quarterly, and it's kind of our collaboration with Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky grants. But this event specifically got to pair together some professionals, workshops. It was a day-long event for those entrepreneurs, but this program has a really great kind of alumni network where previous recipients of the grant are very active, and then the new ones got to get highlighted with their checks. That also was with the Northern Kentucky Entrepreneur Fund, and we were able to get 5 Northern Kentucky businesses highlighted, totaling 29,000 in grants. And then the upcoming initiative that I'm super excited about to be back with Blue North for is our Brink 90-day program. Like John had mentioned, they were our first company to go through it, but it's our 90-day kind of accelerator program. But we're really working on those businesses that are getting from the ground up. And we're doing a lot of mentorship and one-on-one working with the founder. So I think this can grow into something really exciting, but we're starting out with just some of the smaller companies that have a ton of potential that we can really get hands-on in the beginning with them. So super excited about that, and that'll be upcoming for Blue North.
All right. Thank you so much, Reese. We look forward to continued success with Brink. We're certainly seeing a theme here across a variety of different approaches to accelerator programs to really dive in even deeper with their advancement needs and, of course, all of the value that you bring to those target startup clients. Thank you so much, everyone. These are just some quick calendar dates that you can mark if you like. We'll have our next Startup Resources series, which is monthly, on Tuesday, February 18th. And this Innovation Hub update for the next quarter will be on Wednesday, April 23rd. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today and for your updates. And also a special thank you to all of our founder guests for joining us. And I hope everybody has a great day. Thank you all.